In this tutorial, we're going to look at the difference between the paragraph tag, which we saw in the last tutorial, and a new type of tag, which is called the break tag. So in this sample text that I've got here, my sample HTML document, I have got my tags, I've got my content text in here, which is just filler text, lorem ipsum, and I've got my paragraph tags set up. Let's take a look at what that HTML produces in the browser. So I'm going to flick into my browser, press refresh, and there it is. So I've got three different paragraphs there, and notice after each paragraph ends, it skips a line and then it goes on to the next paragraph. Now, to introduce you to this new type of tag, which is called the break tag, I'm just going to insert this tag here. Now, the break tag is unusual in that I'm just going to put in an extra slash there just after the tag name and before the final angle bracket to finish off the tag, and I'll explain that in a minute. But just let's see what the effect of putting in that break tag into the actual text of that HTML document is. So I'm going to save that file, and I'm going to just go to the browser just before I refresh. This is where I actually put the break tag in my code in HTML. So when I click on the refresh, I can see here that the break tag forces the browser to put whatever comes after it onto the next line. And I'll just zoom in here to take a better look. So we see here, that's the break tag. It just forces it onto the next line, and note the difference between that and the paragraph tag. When I end a paragraph, it skips a line and then starts the paragraph here, or it adds in some extra space between paragraphs. Now let's return to the code to talk about some of the more fundamental differences between the paragraph tag and the break tag. First of all, the paragraph is essentially a full container element, meaning that I have a start paragraph tag. In the middle between that start paragraph and the end paragraph tag, I put in the content, and that is usually text, but it could be images, it could be other things as well. And then at the end of the paragraph, I have an end paragraph tag. So the start paragraph tag and the end paragraph tag, they encapsulate the actual text inside the paragraph. Now, contrast that with the break tag. The break tag just gives a quick command to the browser saying, just go on to the next line. I don't really care what happens after that, but just you go on to the next line and the other tags will take care of the rest. Put whatever content is after this on the next line. Because there's no end break tag with the break element, the text afterwards isn't contained within the break element. It's a single command and it's just given very, very quickly. And that is why, because we don't have an end break tag, the start and the end is effectively all collapsed into one, because it's a single command in one go. We just put it in one place. The browser follows or obeys that command, and then it moves on through the rest of the content and the rest of the tags. Because it's a start tag and an end tag all rolled in together, we call it a special type of name. It's a special type of tag, and it's called a composite tag. And composite coming from the combination of the start tag and the end tag. And so then, just to wrap up, the paragraph tag is specifically designed really to hold text and other types of content in between the start tag and the start paragraph tag and the end paragraph tag. And because it's a container that contains text, when we get on to be talking about cascading style sheets, we can control that container with specific rules that formats that container and formats the actual text or content within that paragraph. The break tag, however, doesn't work like that. It's just a single command that breaks things onto the next line.